Hey everyone, you're watching VGO 40 and this is VGO Girl, and we are looking at World of Kings, and this is the Mechanical Maze dungeon in Overlord mode. This is Overlord 1 and probably the scariest dungeon I've ever done. And, after several wipes and attempts, my guild took pity on me and helped me through learning the second and third boss. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at the first boss to begin with. So I'm kind of skipping over a lot of this stuff, but if you're looking at the mobs, just be careful to kind of watch out for the purple puddles. They were not purple puddling in the regular version of the dungeon, adventure mode, but in Overlord I noticed a lot of purple puddles, so just pull the mobs out of them. As far as the first boss goes, there really isn't a whole lot of difference that I noticed between adventure and Overlord, so just kind of watch out for the areas where the attacks are going on, step out of the AoE stuff, and just in general, they'll get the little circle with the arrows, go into that for, sharing damage. Also, there's that wonderful little slug thing that changes everybody into slugs or whatever they are. There's a adventure version of this dungeon that I did a video on as well, so you can check it out if you really want specifics. But the first boss is pretty much the same, so just get to that and then move on. Okay, here's where this dungeon gets just downright terrifying, honestly. So you've got this red circle ring around the second boss, sorry, and you've got these two mobs. They're not ads. Don't worry about them. They just do like an area of effect damage thing. Okay, so this boss has this counter you can see kind of on the center of the screen. It's got a red above and below it, and it's got like a little skull thing. Okay, so this is a very important counter. What's going to happen is your counter is going to go up to 10. You don't want it to get to 10. But so what happens is one person goes into this red circle and their counter goes up to 8. At 8, you want to step out of the circle and somebody else will go into the circle and their counter will go up to 8. I believe it's 30 seconds that it takes to clear out your counter where you have to be outside the circle. So everybody has to stay kind of close, pay attention to who's in the circle, and take turns one at a time going into the circle. So DPS, maybe not healer, but everybody else has to take turns going into the circle. Other than that, you avoid these like cone like AoE damage things. They're pretty easy to avoid. There's that blue circle thing that comes up again. It's not here yet. One group I was in said to try and get that blue circle over the boss. This one, which worked beautifully, here's that blue circle. We just moved it away a little bit, so we didn't really worry about it too much. But the really important thing on this boss, which I can't stress enough, is these counters. You have to go up to 8 and then get out of the circle. Next person goes in. You really got to watch it. I actually found this boss easier once we got the hang of the mechanics down than in adventure mode. I just didn't seem to get pounded as much, or maybe my healers just were amazing. But you get that little area of effect thing you got to watch out for. But anyway, that's this boss. I wiped on it so many times. I had to res so many times. If you do this right, you won't need to. So it's really hard to get the hang of it, but yeah. I'll also mention that if your counter gets up to 10, you get hit with this like big red stunning attack. You can kind of see it there. When I was doing this before, and I think this is kind of why the healer might stay out of the whole thing, is that when I would get stunned, it would take me down to almost 0 health and I'd pretty much be dead. So it's really important to avoid that as much as possible. Okay, so at this point I was like totally shaking practically. It was such a difficult dungeon. But to be honest, I actually didn't find this third boss too challenging. It doesn't freak me out like the second boss. So with this one, you just gotta, again, watch the AoEs. It's kind of similar to the adventure mode. There's a couple changes beyond that. You know, really watch the AoEs. We kind of stood on the side here. There's mobs all around the outside, so don't go too far out. We accidentally, the first time, ended up with a mob in the middle that got killed, so it's healing the boss. Great. Purple puddles. So stand off to the side if you can. But watch for the messages over the head. You still have to go back to the middle when you get that kind of, if you can see off to the side, that black box. There we go. With the red text, you have to go to the center. Now, so this boss, it creates 2 different clones of itself. One is this one with a fan shape area of effect, and it chases one person. I didn't realize the first time you have to go after that and kill them. But chase the boss around, that clone of the boss around, and kill it. And then that'll free up the other boss in the middle to go ahead and kill them. So that is one of the things that you'll encounter. Okay, this AoE is pretty much like the other adventure mode, so I hope you ran adventure mode before trying this in Overlord. Move to the center with the black and red text. So here we have another clone, the second clone. You're going to want to go and switch to the second clone and attack it really quick and try to kill it. Now here we did really well. We killed the clone. Awesome. In the other one that I ran where there wasn't as much DPS, you kill the clone, you attack the clone, and then you have to stop attacking the clone when it says to stop attacking the clone, because at that point it reflects all the damage. And then you'll get another message saying quickly attack the clone now because it's about to explode. So then you have to start attacking the clone again. So be careful. I think part of the time we got into issues when the clone was up and you had to stop attacking it, that people went back to the boss, and if you don't think about, okay, you've got some area of effect attacks, you don't want that other guy to get damage. So just turn off your attacks for a couple seconds or something like that, so that you don't end up taking damage from this clone. So again, here we were quick enough to get it before it actually had to stop. Now, at this point, we actually have both clones up. You end up with this back one, and you end up with the clone. So you gotta kind of time those right. And especially if you're not fast enough to take down the first clone. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it to this boss. I mean, it's hard, but I don't find it as daunting as the second boss. So definitely, you know, just keep an eye on the messages, follow the prompts, and, you know, watch out for the 2 different clones. And you should be all set on that boss. You're watching VGO40, and this is VGO Girl. We hope you found this helpful, and please take a moment to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time in World of Kings.